This conference will now be recorded.
Hi guys, my name is LaDonna Cavanis and I am an instructor here at Ultimate Medical Academy. Today we will be reviewing medical terms. So let's get started. So let's take a look at word root or root word. It contains the basic meaning of the term. In medical terminology, this word part usually, but not always, indicates the involved body part. For example, the word meaning stomach is GASTR. So let's take a look at prefixes. A prefix usually, but not always, indicates a location, time, number, or status. A prefix comes at the beginning of the word. Let's take a look at suffix. A suffix usually, but not always, indicates the procedure, condition, disorder, or disease. Okay, let's take a look at the combining form. A combining form is a word root with a combining vowel added at the end. For example, the combining form meaning stomach is GASTR with a combining vowel O. This form is used when a suffix beginning with a consonant is added. When a combining form appears alone, it is shown with a backslash between the word root and the combining vowel. So that's some food for thought. Keep that in mind, guys. A word root cannot stand alone. A suffix almost always be added at the end of the word to complete the term. The rules for creating combining form by adding a vowel apply when a suffix begins with a consonant, and we'll talk more about that throughout the PowerPoint. It's added to the word root. When a prefix is added, it is always placed at the beginning of the word. Word root. Word roots are derived from Greek or Latin. Two different roots can have the same meaning. So here's an example of that. ECG, EKG. Cardi, CARDIA equals heart in Latin. Cardio, CARDIO equals heart in Greek. Okay. Word roots. Impossible to memorize all medical words. Memorize the word parts and the whole word can be deciphered. Example, gastritis equals inflammation of the stomach. Gastro equals stomach. Itis equals inflammation. Gastronemosis. Gastro equals belly, muscle bellied out. So gastro was used to describe this term, right? Word roots continue. Give basic meaning of the word. Each medical term contains one or more roots, usually indicates a body part, and I've provided some examples here. So osteo equals bone, ARTHR equals joint, ITIS equals inflammation, osteoarthritis, inflammation of the bone and joint. Prefixes, a word part added before a root to modify its meaning. Many medical terms do not have a prefix. Here's an example, AN, without or not, plus ESTHES meaning feelings, plus IA is condition. Anesthesia, when you pull it all together, right? Condition of not feeling. Suffix, a word part added to the end of a root to modify its meaning. Most medical terms have a suffix, so keep that in mind, guys. So let's take a look at the term here. HEPAT, which is the word root, plus ITIS, which is the suffix. You pull it together, it's hepatitis, okay? INFAM of the liver, meaning inflammation of the liver. Okay. Let's talk a little bit about combining vowels. Usually an O that is used between the word part to ease pronunciation. Sometimes E or I may be used, but more so you'll see that O is used as a combining vowel. Okay, so here's an example. Thermometer. THER is your prefix, O is your combining vowel, and meter is your suffix. Just moving things around a bit. Okay, here's some guidelines for combining vowel. If a suffix begins with a vowel, usually word root, not the combining form. Here's an example. GASTR plus itis equals gastritis. So this is root plus suffix. Guidelines for combining vowel. If suffix begins with a consonant, use combining vowel. And here's an example of that. THERM plus O equals meter equals thermometer. So thermo is the root, your combining vowel is O, and your suffix is meter, okay? And when you pull that all together, it equals thermometer. All right. Guidelines for combining vowel. To link two word roots, always use a combining vowel, even if the second root begins with a vowel. Here's an example of that. GAST plus O plus ENTER plus ITIS. Pull that all together. Gastroenteritis. Gastro meaning stomach. Your combining vowel is O. ENTER is intestines, and ITIS equals inflammation. Again, when you pull it all together, it equals gastroenteritis. Okay? All right, guidelines for combining vowel. Never use a combining vowel after a prefix, even if root begins with a W, a consonant. Example, POS plus plus RHIN plus O plus PLASTY. Never use a combining vowel after a prefix, even if the root begins with a double W. Oh, this is duplicate. So never mind. So in this example, you never use a O. So the prefix is POST plus the combining vowel is O, okay? Your word root is RHIN and your suffix is plasty, PLASTY. So when you pull it all together, it's post rhinoplasty. Okay, we're going to go to the next slide. Steps to define medical words. So first you want to define the suffix, then you want to define the prefix if one is used, and last you want to define the middle part, which is the word root or root word. I've provided some examples here. SUBGASTRALGIA, gastralgia. So SUB means under, and this is your prefix. GASTR equals stomach, which is your root. And ALGIS equals pain, which is your suffix. Let's go back to slide 13. The steps are to define the suffix, then the prefix, then the word root, and that's exactly what we did here. Here's another example. Transcardiopulmonitis. TRANS means across, and that is the prefix. CRDIO is heart. This is the word root or root word with a combining vowel added O, plus PULMON, which is lungs, and that's another root. So remember we talked about it earlier. Sometimes you may have more than one word root in a medical term. And this is a good example of that. So we have CARDIO plus PULMO, and both of these are word roots or root words, plus ITIS, again, equals inflammation, and this is your suffix. All right. So when we break this all down, guys, keep in mind that primary medical terms enable you to prioritize terms in your study of medical terminology. These are the words that are shown in boldface in the slides, okay? As introduction to medical word parts and how they are used to create complex medical terms, the word parts that usually but not always indicate the part of the body involved. A combining vowel is a word root that has a vowel, usually the letter O. But remember in the slide, sometimes it can be I or E, but usually you'll find a O. The word part attached at the end of the word that usually but not always indicates a procedure, condition, disorder, or disease. The word part attached at the beginning of the word that usually but not always indicates location, time, number, or status. Knowledge of word part helps to decipher medical terms. Guidelines to make the use of medical dictionary easy. Okay, so use the easy to use sound alike pronunciation system when trying to determine or trying to pronounce a medical term. One letter spelling error can change the entire meaning of that medical term. Okay, terms used to describe diseases, basic medical terms, clarification of confusing terms, word parts that look or sound alike, keep that in mind. Caution, it is always important when using abbreviations to make sure that you're using abbreviations according to your organization's approval. Again, thank you for joining me in my lecture video on medical terminology.